Hey, it's Burton or BP Stories. Today I have a story that may or may not involve me making some pretty bad decisions. Either way, let's get straight into this. So this story takes place last 4th of July. I was in 7th grade and I was just hanging out, and I asked if my friend, let's just call him Dylan. I asked if my friend Dylan wants to come over, and he's like, yeah. So he comes over, and it's pretty much just me and him, and we're hanging out, having fun, and, waiting for fireworks to start, just regular 4th of July. And then my sister comes over with her friends, and Dylan is 16 at the time. My sister's 16, and my sister's friends are 16. So I'm the only 7th grader there, so I know I have to look older and try to act cool in front of them. So, I'm taking every opportunity that I can to do that. And so besides that, we are walking to 7-Eleven because, we're kind of bored. We want a snack. We're a little thirsty. And I'd say it's about 9 o'clock. And my mom says be back by 10. And, that's plenty of time because it takes, I'd say 20 minutes to walk to the 7-Eleven and back. So we're walking to the 7-Eleven, and some of my sister's friends have to leave, though. So they get picked up, and there's me, my sister's friend, and Dylan. So we're walking to 7-Eleven, and I don't even know how, but somehow weed got brought up. And I had never tried weed. I've never done weed. I barely even knew what it was. I knew what it was, at the time I was watching Chains for Real and Luna, I knew what it was. I knew what it did. So they're talking about it, and they're talking about their first time and stuff. And my sister says, "Hey Burton, I've never asked you, have you smoked weed before?" And I'm like, "No, actually I haven't." She's like, "Oh, okay." And then my friend is just like, "Dang, I would have thought you would have." I'm like, I don't know why. I didn't really ever get into that stuff at this point in my life. And so we continue walking, and my sister's like, "Hey, maybe we should, call Plug up. Maybe we should get some." And at this point, I'm like, yeah, let's do it, because, I want to look older in front of them. I'm trying to impress Gunner. And so, we're hanging out, and, Dylan, he actually doesn't have his phone, so he can't talk to his plug and tell him to come, because his iCloud got hacked into or some shit, and pretty much his dad was, really paranoid, and, wasn't letting them have their phones. Just really scared that more stuff was going to get hacked, and all their money was going to get taken or something, I don't know. But he didn't have his phone, so we get on my sister's phone, and we're looking on Snapchat, and we're like, it's, word of advice, it's actually really easy, to find a plug on Snapchat. You just need to look at their name. And so we find this one guy. I don't even remember his name, but it's something like something Bags, or I don't know. You can just tell that he's a plug. So we add him, and, he adds us back. And so we pass the phone to Dylan because, he's done this before, and he knows how to hit up the plug. He's like, "Yo, what's on the menu?" He's just like, I don't know, how much you got? And together, we had $40, which was plenty to get what we needed. And so we start, seeing what we can get, and we end up getting a Muha pen. And so we're like, "Hey, meet us at the school." So we run to 7-Eleven, go get, our drinks and snacks, and we wait at the school. And he said he'd meet us there at 11:30, but my mom said we have to be back at 10. So we're brainstorming on how we're going to stay out an extra hour and a half. So we're thinking, and our best idea was, we're going to say my sister's friend lost her phone, and we had to go looking for it. She must have, we were going to say, she dropped it somewhere and we had to look for it, like, when we were walking around the school, so we have to look around the school for her phone. And my mom notices that we're not walking because she has Life 360 on my sister's phone. So she sees that we are definitely not moving and not looking for the phone. So she says, I know you guys are just slacking, get home now. And I'm like, oh no, like, because I don't, I actually kind of want to do this now. Like, I'm getting all hyped. And so we end up stalling more. And at this point, it's about 11. And we say, hey, like, can you come early? He's like, I'm out now. So yeah, like, I can come right now. So we're like, all right, sweet. So he says, I'll be over in like a few minutes. And so at this point, my mom is texting my sister nonstop saying, you need to get home now. Like, and they're just circling the school, just proving that they're moving and looking for the phone. So at this point, it's been about 10 minutes after he said he'd be there in a few minutes. And so we decide, if he's not here in 5 minutes, we're just going to go back to my house. And, that would have been disappointing. But right as we say that, he pulls up in the car. We pay for it. He gives it to us. And at this point, we're not even going to wait for my sister and her friend. Like, my mom is, like, yelling on text. And at this point, I swear, she thinks we've, like, run away or something. Like, my mom is overreacting. It's just, like, an hour later. But, so, we just run back to my house. And we don't even tell my sister. We don't have any way to contact her. So, we just run back to my house. And we're brainstorming as we're running back. Like, how are we going to explain to my mom, like, why my sister isn't with us? And then we say, like, we're just going to say, like, they were looking for the phone, and we were just sitting there, so we just thought it'd be responsible to just come home and wait for them to get here. And then, so we have the plan, and we proceed to sprint back to my house. And once we get there, we open the door, and guess who's there? My sister and her friend. And they're like, shh. I'm like, why? They're like, Mom and Dad went to bed. So I guess my mom just trusted we'd be home soon, and she goes to bed. So, I'm excited. We run up to my sister's room, and we unbox the weed pen. So we each take a hit, and after 2 minutes, I'm impatient. I'm like, what? Why is nothing happening? And Dylan's like, it takes a little kick in. I'm like, how long? He's like, anywhere from like 5 to 10 minutes. I'm like, shit, I'm not waiting that long. So I take 2 more big hits, and that was a mistake. That was the dumbest fucking idea I could have had, but I end up doing that. And about 5 minutes later, I'm just like standing, leaning against the wall, and suddenly I look up, and the room is crooked. It is fucking leaning to the side, and I'm about to fall over. So I sit down, I'm like, what's happening? And Gunn is just like, oh yeah, you're feeling it. I'm like, what? Because, words are like slower to me. Like, everything is like in slow motion. I look over, and like it takes like 2 seconds for me to look over, even though it took me like a millisecond to look. And so this is really weird. It's definitely the weirdest experience I have ever had at the time. And so, I'm just freaking out, sitting there, and they're all talking because they had done this before, so they knew what to expect, but I didn't even know what to expect, so I was stunned. And about, I'd say, 10 minutes goes by, and I ask my sister, what time is it? And she's like, it's 1:30. Let me remind you, we took it at like 12, so an hour had passed. An hour and a half had passed, and it felt like 10 minutes. I swear to God, it was about 10 minutes had passed. Supposedly it had been like an hour. And so I start freaking out, but they end up calming me down. Then me and Dylan go into my room and talk for the rest of the night. So does my sister and her friend just stay in her room and talk for the rest of the night. That's the story. I hope you guys enjoyed it. And let me know in the comments if you liked that video and if you want more story times like that. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.
Don't give a fuck, bitch, privilege be able to like a trash. Fuck a bitch, cause I wanna go outside in the dark. And don't have to think any shit, they're fun, bitch. Motherfucking people walk, say you're really sick. I always been feeling me, and I feel like it's fuck when I'm thinking back again.